Looking back at the course of human history, it is easy to see that language has always played a special role in shaping and sustaining relationships among people. Words can uplift, comfort, and encourage, but they can also wound, divide, and spread suffering. A single spoken word, if wholesome, can soothe another person's heart like a cool stream quenching thirst in a dry desert. Yet if unwholesome, it can become an invisible blade, inflicting deep wounds within the heart that are difficult to heal. For this reason, the Buddha established a crucial principle within the Noble Eightfold Path, that is right speech. Among the 8 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, right speech serves as a bridge between thought and action. If right view and right intention are the foundation of wisdom, then right speech is the first doorway through which wholesome thoughts are expressed in real life. Speech is not merely a tool for communication, but also a reflection of the mind, the character, and the inner practice of an individual. The Buddha once taught, through speech, people come to know each other's minds. Through speech, trust is built, and through speech, hatred may either cease or flare up. He saw clearly the tremendous power hidden within every word. Therefore, he instructed his disciples to be mindful, to guard their speech as one guards a fortress. For once words are released, they cannot be taken back. A familiar proverb in Vietnamese folk wisdom also echoes this. Words cost nothing, yet choosing them wisely brings harmony to all. In today's modern society, with the rapid development of technology, we no longer speak only face-to-face. We also communicate through text messages, social media, images, and videos. A single sentence typed out can, within seconds, spread across the entire world. This reality makes our responsibility for speech and written words even heavier. A careless comment can lead to conflict. A piece of misinformation can cause panic. And a single harsh remark can wound millions of hearts. From this perspective, right speech has never been outdated. On the contrary, it has become more urgent than ever. It can be said that when the Buddha taught right speech, he was not merely encouraging people to use pleasant words. More importantly, he was guiding us toward inner transformation, purifying the mind so that words naturally emerge as truthful, harmonious, and filled with compassion. He pointed out that a person who speaks truthfully, constructively, gently, and beneficially not only brings peace to others but also nourishes themselves with happiness, trust, and respect. In this podcast, we will journey together into the Buddha's teachings on right speech. The content will unfold in several parts, beginning with the concept and meaning of right speech, moving on to the 4 kinds of wrong speech the Buddha advised to avoid, then exploring the 4 criteria of right speech, followed by its application in modern life, and finally the transformative power that right speech can bring. May this reflection inspire us to practice so that our words may become seeds of peace and compassion in the world. The meaning of right speech. To clearly understand the Buddha's teachings on right speech, we first need to return to the basic meaning he intended to convey. In many discourses, the Buddha emphasized that right speech is an essential part of the Noble Eightfold Path, the path leading human beings out of suffering. Put simply, right speech means speaking in a wholesome way, which involves avoiding 4 kinds of harmful speech: not lying, not speaking in a way that causes division, not speaking harshly, not speaking uselessly or frivolously. On the other hand, right speech is expressed through 4 positive forms of communication: speaking truthfully, speaking in a way that brings harmony, speaking kindly and gently, speaking words that are beneficial to others. Here, what matters is not only the content of the words but also the intention behind them. A sentence may sound sweet, but if it comes from an unwholesome motive, it is still wrong speech. Conversely, a sentence may be straightforward, but if it arises from compassion and a wish to help, then it is right speech. 1. Words reflect the mind. The Buddha taught that speech is the doorway through which the heart and mind are revealed. When filled with love and understanding, speech naturally becomes gentle and constructive. When the mind is controlled by greed, anger, or ignorance, speech tends to hurt others. Therefore, practicing right speech is not just about holding the tongue, but more deeply about transforming the mind, cultivating purity and kindness within. 2. Words as flowers. In some teachings, words are compared to flowers. If they are fresh and fragrant, when offered they bring joy and gratitude to the receiver. If they are wilted and lifeless, they give no joy and may even cause discomfort. In the same way, words filled with compassion and understanding are like fragrant blossoms that warm the listener's heart. But words of anger, deceit, or cruelty are like arrows that wound both speaker and listener. 3. Right speech and ethics in daily life. In the practice of the path, right speech belongs to the domain of ethical conduct. To guard one's speech is to protect both oneself and others. A person who practices right speech gradually builds trust, credibility, and respect from those around them. They do not need to prove their worth through many arguments. Their measured, truthful, and kind way of speaking naturally inspires confidence. On the other hand, someone who is used to lying, mocking, or sowing division will eventually lose the trust of others. More than that, their own inner life will be filled with unease, anxiety, and even regret. 4. Right speech in everyday life. In daily living, right speech shows itself in very practical ways. When friends ask something, we respond honestly, without exaggeration or manipulation. When conflicts arise in the family, we choose gentle words to reconcile rather than adding fuel to the fire. At work, we speak with respect and constructiveness, avoiding harsh words or insults. In ordinary conversations, we avoid idle chatter and instead share useful, encouraging, and nourishing words. Right speech is not something lofty or far away. It is present in every sentence we utter each day. We only need to ask ourselves, is this true? Does it bring harmony? Does it cause suffering? Is it beneficial? And we will immediately know whether our words align with right speech. The 4 kinds of wrong speech to avoid. When teaching about right speech, the Buddha often emphasized the importance of avoiding 4 kinds of unwholesome speech. These are forms of communication that easily create suffering for both the speaker and the listener, gradually destroying trust and harmony in society. Let us examine them one by one. 1. False speech, lying. Lying is one of the most common but also most harmful forms of wrong speech. A lie may bring temporary benefit, but it always leaves behind suspicion and mistrust. The Buddha taught that a person who lies, even in jest, gradually loses credibility. Once trust is broken, it is difficult to restore. Telling the truth not only respects others but also respects oneself. When we speak truthfully, we stand firm on a foundation of integrity. Conversely, when we lie, even if others do not know, our own conscience becomes restless. A life filled with lies cannot bring true peace. 2. Divisive speech. Divisive speech is communication that causes discord, setting people against each other. Sometimes it takes the form of spreading rumors, gossip, or exaggeration in order to damage relationships. The Buddha warned that this type of speech is like a sharp knife cutting through the bonds of trust between individuals. In a family, divisive speech can make siblings distrust one another. In society, it can split communities apart. In politics, it can provoke wars and conflict. Therefore, the practice of right speech always encourages words that heal and connect, rather than words that divide. 3. Harsh speech. Harsh speech refers to words spoken with anger, insult, or contempt. Such speech may relieve anger temporarily, but it plants deep wounds in the hearts of others. The Buddha compared harsh words to throwing hot coals with bare hands before they burn others. They first burn the one who throws them. In everyday life, we can easily see how a harsh remark can ruin an entire relationship, while a gentle word can resolve a conflict. Therefore, practicing right speech means training ourselves to speak calmly and kindly, even in moments of disagreement. 4. Idle and useless speech. Idle speech is talking without purpose, words that bring no benefit, sometimes even creating more confusion and distraction. This includes gossiping, making fun of others, or speaking aimlessly just to pass the time. The Buddha advised us to use words mindfully, to speak at the right time, and to speak in ways that nourish understanding. Instead of wasting time in idle chatter, we can use speech to share knowledge, to encourage, or to inspire others toward goodness. Summary. In short, the 4 types of wrong speech to avoid are lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, and idle speech. Practicing to refrain from these is already a major step toward peace in both individual and community life. Just as a house is protected by sturdy walls, a person who avoids harmful speech is protected by an inner fortress of trust and integrity. The 4 criteria of right speech. In the previous section, we explored the 4 kinds of wrong speech to avoid. Now, let us turn to the 4 essential criteria of right speech, 4 guiding principles that help us recognize and practice wholesome communication in daily life. The Buddha did not only teach us what not to say, he also guided us on how to speak. He encouraged us to speak in ways that nurture love, build trust, and bring benefit and peace to ourselves and to others. 1. Speaking truthfully. The first criterion of right speech is speaking the truth. Truthful speech is the foundation of all relationships. A family, community, or society can only remain stable if built on trust. And trust can only exist where truth is spoken. Speaking truthfully does not mean being blunt or harsh. We can present the truth with kindness and skill. Truth combined with compassion becomes a medicine that heals, whereas truth lacking compassion may turn into a blade that wounds. 2. Speaking harmoniously. The second criterion is speaking words that bring harmony. These are words that help connect, soothe conflicts, and mend what has been broken. The Buddha taught that a person who knows how to reconcile with words plants seeds of peace in the community. Such a person does not add fuel to the fire during conflict, nor do they carry stories from one side to another to create division. Instead, they find ways to dissolve misunderstanding and strengthen trust and empathy. 3. Speaking kindly and gently. The third criterion is speaking with kindness and gentleness. No matter how important the truth may be, if spoken with anger or harshness, it will be difficult for others to accept. Conversely, when expressed softly and respectfully, the heart of the listener opens naturally to receive the message. Kind speech not only helps others suffer less but also reflects maturity and compassion within ourselves. A gentle word can sometimes be more precious than a material gift. 4. Speaking usefully. Finally, speech should be useful and beneficial. There are words that may be true but unnecessary, bringing no real benefit. A practitioner of right speech chooses carefully what to say, speaking only what uplifts, encourages, or leads to deeper understanding. Useful speech is timely speech, appropriate to the situation, the context, and the listener. Not every truth needs to be spoken immediately. Sometimes we must wait for the right moment or find the right way to express it so that our words become a source of nourishment rather than harm. In summary, the 4 criteria of right speech are: truthful, words grounded in truth; harmonious, words that build connection and unity; kind and gentle, words that do not hurt but soothe and uplift; beneficial, words that bring value and peace. When we reflect on these 4 criteria before speaking, our words become wholesome seeds, sowing trust, love, and peace in the hearts of all who hear them. Applying right speech in modern life. As we have seen, speech carries tremendous power. In the Buddha's time, a word might travel only from one person to another. Today, with the rapid growth of technology, words can spread across the globe in seconds. This makes the practice of right speech in modern life more urgent and essential than ever. 1. Right speech in the family. The family is the closest environment where we can practice right speech. Every word spoken at home can either be a source of nourishment or a painful wound. A word of encouragement can make parents happy. A gentle sentence can give children confidence. And a sincere apology can heal disagreements. When we practice right speech in the family, we not only maintain harmony but also sow seeds of love, respect, and trust for future generations. 2. Right speech in the workplace. In the workplace, truthful, harmonious, and beneficial speech builds trust among colleagues. A strong team is one where people trust each other. And that trust begins with the way we communicate. Instead of criticizing harshly, we can choose constructive feedback. Instead of endless arguments, we can choose calm listening and respectful dialogue. Practicing right speech not only contributes to the success of the group but also nurtures personal growth. 3. Right speech on social media. Today, social media is where we communicate most often. A single comment, status update, or post can influence hundreds, even millions of people. Therefore, practicing right speech online is of utmost importance. Before posting or commenting, we might ask ourselves, is this true? Does it bring understanding and connection? Could it harm anyone? Is it truly necessary and beneficial? If the answer is no, then silence may be the wiser choice. Because silence, when mindful, is also a form of right speech. 4. Right speech in social interactions. In daily life, we constantly interact with friends, neighbors, partners, and customers. Every word we speak shapes how others perceive us. A kept promise, a friendly greeting, or a timely thank you can all make society warmer and more humane. 5. Right speech and the art of listening. Right speech is not only about speaking but is also deeply connected with the art of listening. Without compassionate and mindful listening, we cannot truly say words that nourish others. When we listen deeply, we naturally know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it so that our words bring healing rather than harm. In summary, practicing right speech in modern life means using language mindfully in the family, at work, on social media, and in all relationships. Words then are no longer mere tools of communication, but a path of practice in themselves. They help us cultivate understanding and love while contributing to building a society filled with humanity and peace. The transformative power of right speech. Practicing right speech is not merely about controlling words to avoid causing harm. It is also a spiritual discipline with profound transformative power. Right speech has the ability to change our inner world, transform our relationships with others, and contribute to the well-being of society. 1. Transforming the self. When we practice speaking truthfully, kindly, and helpfully, we are training our own mind to become more upright, compassionate, and wise. Each time we refrain from lying, from speaking in anger, or from uttering useless words, we are winning a small victory over ourselves. Gradually, our speech becomes a mirror reflecting a pure heart. We realize that when the mind is calm and full of love, words naturally become gentle without effort. Conversely, when the mind is disturbed by defilements, speech easily turns into a tool of suffering for ourselves and for others. 2. Transforming relationships. Speech can be a bridge that connects, or a knife that severs. A timely apology can save a relationship on the verge of breaking. A sincere word of encouragement can uplift someone in despair. A skillful word of reconciliation can end a hatred that has lasted for years. Practicing right speech helps us know how to speak in a way that nurtures understanding and love. When we communicate with sincerity and compassion, we plant the seeds of peace in each relationship. 3. Transforming communities and society. Right speech also has the power to transform entire communities. A leader who speaks truthfully, harmoniously, and encouragingly can inspire and unite millions of people. A community that practices right speech will naturally reduce violence, hatred, and division. In today's world, where misinformation, inflammatory speech, and divisive language spread rapidly through media and social networks, right speech becomes a filter that protects the collective mind. When each individual becomes mindful of their words, society will be spared much of the suffering caused by misunderstanding and hostility. 4. Transforming inner and outer worlds. Right speech has a twofold effect. It transforms the inner world while also reshaping the outer world. When our mind is pure, our words are beautiful. When our words are beautiful, the environment around us becomes more peaceful. This is the positive cycle created by right speech. 5. Right speech is a form of wholesome energy. Each mindful word can be seen as a form of wholesome energy radiating into the environment. It is like a cool breeze dispelling heat, like fresh water soothing thirst. Those who practice right speech not only benefit themselves but also bring joy and peace to others. In summary, the transformative power of right speech is immense. It helps transform the self, making the mind gentler and clearer. It helps transform relationships, building trust and love. It helps transform society, creating a more humane and harmonious environment. Every word that is truthful, kind, harmonious, and beneficial is a wholesome seed. When such seeds are sown widely, we collectively create a world full of understanding, compassion, and peace. Conclusion. The journey of learning and practicing right speech does not end with the teachings recorded in the scriptures. It extends into every moment of our daily lives. For every day, we speak, we listen, we interact through words, and those very words help shape our minds, nurture or damage relationships, and contribute to the face of society. Right speech, as taught by the Buddha, is not a rigid doctrine but a humane path of practice. It is a path that helps us live truthfully with ourselves, without concealment or deceit, respect others through gentle and loving words, benefit the community with words of encouragement, support, and sharing, sow seeds of peace with words that nourish instead of wound. If each of us paused before speaking to ask, is this true? Is it beneficial? Is it necessary? Does it bring harmony? Then surely this world would have far less suffering and misunderstanding. In modern times, right speech is even more essential. The power of words is no longer confined to a family or a small group of friends, but can reach millions of people instantly through social media. A single careless sentence can cause great division and pain. But on the other hand, a single word filled with compassion can heal countless hearts. Right speech is not only true speech, but also beautiful speech, beautiful in that it carries love, truth, and wisdom. By practicing right speech, we not only protect our own happiness but also contribute to building a compassionate society and a peaceful world. In the end, we can summarize the essence of right speech with one simple yet profound reminder. Right finger, speak the truth. Speak with kindness. Speak words that bring benefit. And know when to remain silent. That is the spirit of right speech the Buddha taught. It is also the priceless gift that each of us can give to one another every day, simply through a word. Dear friends, we have now completed our journey exploring right speech, one of the most practical and profound teachings of the Buddha. I hope that through this episode, you have found inspiration to reflect on the way you use language in daily life, to value every word, every sentence, and to ensure that your speech brings joy and peace to yourself as well as to those around you. Words can be a bridge that connects hearts, or they can be arrows that cause division. By choosing to follow the path of right speech, we are planting seeds of love, understanding, and harmony. This is not only a practice of discipline but also a priceless gift that we can offer to one another each day. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all of you for taking the time to listen and accompany this channel throughout this episode. Your presence and attention are the very motivation for us to continue creating and sharing meaningful, practical content inspired by the Buddha's teachings. I sincerely wish that in your daily life, you will always keep mindfulness alive. Always choose words that are kind, truthful, and beneficial, so that life becomes more peaceful and filled with clarity. May right speech not remain only as a concept to be studied, but become a natural breath in every moment of your living. If you find this content valuable, please subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss upcoming episodes. By subscribing, you are also sending encouragement to us, helping this channel grow and spread the Dharma to more people around the world. I also warmly invite you to share your questions, thoughts, or reflections in the comments below. Each contribution will be an opportunity for us to learn together, to exchange insights, and to nurture mutual understanding. Once again, thank you deeply for your presence and for listening. May all of us live in peace, stability, and compassion, just as the Buddha so beautifully taught. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.